So this is our panel on resilience. So I'm going to start with you, Jackie. Jackie. Okay. As someone who's contributed to many of our alternative and sex-positive sex, yeah, woo, yeah, right, community spaces, what strategies do you use and see used around you by women who want to genuinely celebrate their sexuality in a male-dominated society where male sexuality is usually the be-all and end-all? Why do you think it's important to be sex-positive as a queer-identified woman?
I'm going to just start with the sex-positive stuff. It's important to be sex-positive because sex is good. You probably don't need me to tell you this, but if I have to, I will. Sex is awesome, and we need to celebrate our sex because everybody else celebrates theirs. Yeah. And now I'll go on to the other part of the question, and I'm going to talk about Hellfire because that's where we've done a lot of this stuff. The overriding strategy we use at Hellfire is inversion. Basically, the modern society has been wrong about so much shit. Like, look at gay marriage. It's just, it's something that we could just fix in 1 minute, yeah? So we kind of look at all of the things and go, well, they're probably wrong about a whole bunch of stuff. So at Hellfire, we tell fat women that they are beautiful. And we reinforce it by using them on our posters and on our stage. And if we used the pretty thin blonde, we'd probably get more people through the door, yeah?
I doubt it.
We probably would, but anyway. We also, we put it into our rules. We've got 6 rules at the club, and one of them is insult anyone about their appearance, kink, and we throw you out. This is a place that celebrates all ages, shapes, sizes and sexualities. I think all places should do that. At Hellfire, we also are a bit of a bee in the bonnet of straight men. We tell them not to hit on women in our space. We make them feel a little bit uncomfortable. We don't let them enter in large groups where they keep the balance of power and reinforce each other's shit. We often single them out at the door and we make them read a sheet of rules, including the ones I'm telling you. So it's a pretty tough night if you're a straight bloke. But we want them to see that their entrance into our space is provisional and it's not guaranteed. And as a result, we have one of the only nightclubs in Sydney where straight men and lesbians party side by side with very few dramas. You'll see it on the rule sheet too. If you're a guy, don't hit on women. Let them approach you. Many women are lesbians. Many are not interested. If we get complaints about men being too predatory, we throw you out. But don't take that to mean I didn't have problems with lesbians at Hellfire, because I did. By and large, a lot of you were really unfriendly. And it took a lot of time of me walking up to women that were standing through our shows like this, with this face, and just inserting myself and saying hello every single month. And if they didn't acknowledge me, I'd just talk shit. Hi, I've got a really nice hairdo tonight, don't I? I've got a new pair of shoes too, and I really like that girl's dress over there. And eventually they started to smile when I came over and they started to have conversations with me. And probably that was just to stop me talking shit. But then I see myself invited to judge the Dykes on Bikes tattoo show, and I start to see some different shit in our nightclub. I start to see bisexual women being accepted by the Dykes and conversations. One of the absolute saddest moments for me was I had a conversation with a young dyke many years ago, and she said to me, I hate it when I go to nightclubs and strangers talk to me. I just go out to be with my friends and I hate people hitting on me. Well, I talk to strangers every single club night, and I talk to them because they're probably the most interesting people there. And strangers become friends, and not every stranger I've talked to had anything to do with my cunt. It was about meeting somebody new and hearing about their life, and we should all do that, yeah? Now, inversion doesn't just apply to the obvious stuff. like images of beauty, sexuality. It also applies to stuff that we don't think to challenge, like belonging. I mean, on the surface, belonging sounds great, yeah? It's nice to be part of a group. It makes you feel good. But every group that has an inside also has an outside. And to phrase Groucho Marx, I don't care to belong to any club that would have me as a member. So Hellfire's unofficial byline became the club where nobody fits in, so everybody does. And the most common response I see when somebody signs up to our newsletter is, I came along and I felt like I was at home and I fitted in. And it comes from people that are suburban mums, inner city dykes. It comes from people that are body beautiful. It comes from people that mark their bodies with tattoos and piercings. And if they all write the same things, they can't all fit in if it's all about fitting in. The other thing that I think is really important is to remember that the aim of all of this stuff is to subvert the dominant paradigm. It's not to make a whole new paradigm. We want to take the sting out of these things that exclude people, and we don't want to create new monolithic worldviews. The best reminder I had was when I walked up to a very petite and gorgeous girl at Hellfire wearing a corset, and I looked at her and I said, "You look really beautiful tonight." And she looked at me and she went, and then she looked back down at her own body and she went, "You know, I don't fill it out like I'm supposed to." And I went, "Oh my God, we've gone too far." And that's why you'll see every month we alternate between thin girl, fat girl, blonde girl, brunette.
Thank you, Jackie.